Okay, I'm starting a new cup today. This is a, I believe, 14-ounce round coffee cup from Maker Flow Crafts. I am going to coat it with this It's Pretty Personal Diamond Dust Girl's Best Friend. Girl's Best Friend is one of their cheats. This is like a super duper fine version of that. You've seen me use the glitter many times, but this is like ultra fine. Don't open it in front of a fan or if there's a breeze blowing anywhere. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it makes for a nice base for a cup. So I'm going to use the I have a little bit of orange glitter stuck to the bottom of that. I'm going to use the wet method to apply this, so I'm going to give it a good amount in my cup. And I'm going to say I've coated at least 5 cups of this jar so far. At least 1 was a top coat, 2 were base coats for water slides, and I started another one earlier and this one now. And I am barely dented the jar. These are a little bit expensive, but they definitely stretch a very long ways, is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to mix that in. And before I apply it, I want to show you what else is going on the cup, just so I can keep moving. I'm going to use some of my Glitter Bees Iridescent Orange Crush Glitter. Just a little sprinkling of this, because I do want the bulk of the cup to be white. And this cup is going to get these cute gnomies. They're not going to go on this side, they're going to go on the other side. And then it's got just a couple little pumpkins. I'm going to try and leave the bottom blank enough that I can put a pumpkin at the bottom. And just a couple of pumpkins around, but these gnomies are going to sit on there. So that is a water slide that I've already printed and sealed. It's ready to go when I get to that point. If you've not worked with a tumbler with a handle, don't be intimidated by it. I know they seem scary at first, but they're really not that bad. I don't do a ton of them, but after the first couple, it's not that big a deal. I saw a hack that if your turner skips when you have a handle, and this one doesn't typically, but if you have a turner that tends to skip when you have a handled mug on it, it's because you're off level. You know, the handle's adding extra weight. But I saw a hack that said to tape a roll of electrical tape on your arm. Like mine would be here where the roll was, because that's the opposite of the handle. And I did that with the last one I did, and let me tell you, it worked really well. I have one turner that I like pack up and put away if I'm not super busy, but I had a lot going on the last time I did a mug one, and I put it on that turner, which tends to skip anyways, and that hack was actually a lifesaver in that case. So but again, this turner doesn't tend to skip all that much, so I'm not going to worry about it this time. So I'm going to pay attention to how I am spreading this, just to try and get pretty even streak-free coverage. Sometimes when you use this method, you end up with streaks. And if I find it's too streaky or not enough coverage, I can actually use this right back over the top as an actual cheat. Either when I'm done or for the next coat if it's required, or however it works. So pay attention to your handle. Make sure you're getting in all those little nooks and crannies. If you need to, feel free to stop your turner with your handle at the top so you can get a good look at it. you're not stopping it for long, it's not going to be the end of the world, but just to make sure you're completely coated under and around and everywhere. So, and that is pretty good. So I'm going to let that spin again. So I think I am happy with this coverage. So I'm going to take off this glove because it is super sticky. And I'm going to grab my orange glitter. And I opened this to see if there was a seal. The seal's stuck in the top. It wasn't stuck to the jar, so try that again. I was like, oh, I must have already gotten the seal out. Nope. Typical. So I think for this, I'm just going to do a little bit of a stripe, and this is a fairly large shaker. It's like a high flow one. So I'm just going to start right on the edge of the cup. And just start tapping it as it goes around. I want pretty good coverage, but I don't want it to go too far up, and I don't want it to be like crazy, crazy coverage. I'm probably just going to get a little bit on and around the handle. This glitter is gorgeous. This is the first time I've put this one on anything. I love the color. So for this cup, we've kind of combined the wet method application, that's how I put that first glitter down, to now the epoxy method for this layer. Because that was such a fine glitter, it does still have epoxy coming over the top. Or out through the top, I guess I should say. So it's still wet for this application. Like I said, I wanted to come up the handle a little bit, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a row. Trying to even it up kind of with that handle piece. Because I'm not really looking for an ombre. I may spread a little bit of it up, but I do kind of want a defined line of sorts. And I'm going to watch it come down and see if I got glitter inside the handle, and I did. So I'm going to actually grab my paper here, pour this in a little medicine cup, and I'm going to tip the turner up a little bit because I'm getting a little bit around the bottom, but not necessarily as much as I'd like. It doesn't necessarily have to be full coverage, but and I'm just going to sprinkle that from high and let some of it kind of fall forward on the cup. And by forward, I mean towards the top. Just so it kind of flows in a little bit. Alright, I'm going to drop that down and watch it a second. And decide if I'm happy. I'm just going to literally dust from way up. There's almost nothing left in this cup, so it's just going to be a super fine dusting. Okay, so Well, that is it for this step. I'm going to let it dry, see if it needs a clear coat to get it smooth before the water slide, or see if this soaks in enough to smooth itself out. But I will be back for that next step. Okay, so I am ready to get the water slide on here. I'm going to apply these guys face down because I have to go over these curves, and I think it's going to be easier than sliding it out. So that is my plan for that. So I am getting this wet while this sits in the water to be released, and it is ready. So I'm going to, I want them kind of up here, I believe. So I'm just going to slide that off, and I'm going to use this little makeup brush to squeegee it down and around. This was this like Seagull brand water slide paper in clear. I know I've been testing the Hippo brand, Hippo, whatever it is, lately, but this I had printed in a batch before I got that in, and it works well. It's just, I feel like this one's a little bit thicker, so it's a little bit harder to work with for me. This one, this orange and white pumpkin, I'm going to put on the bottom. So and this one I'm going to do the proper way. And squeegee it down. And then I'm going to flip the cup and put the rest of my little pumpkins, just a couple scattered on the back. I've only got 3, so just give them a second. And I'm going to go ahead and apply these the correct way as well. I probably should have done more pumpkins, but I'm going to put the white one over the orange part. Otherwise it's just going to kind of disappear. And then I'll put this little blue one up here. So that's it. Whoops. Still a lot of water under that, clearly. I am going to let this dry, and I will be back in to get a coat of resin on it in a bit. Okay, time to get epoxy on this one. I have my epoxy mixed up and ready to go. Okay. This came out super cute. I'll get you down here for a close-up in a little bit. I do have one little spot where the water slide buckled between them, but I think it'll be okay. I really wish this set had been printed on my other water slide, being that it went over the curve. I think the other slide would have covered the curve a little bit better, but I'm not sure. When I printed these, I didn't really have a plan yet for what they were going on. Again, make sure you get in and around your handle pretty well. trying to encourage that little spot to lay down. Okay, so I'm going to let this spin for a minute and then I will bring you down for a better look. Okay, these gnomies are ready for their close-up. And I do have a little spot where I tried to push that bubble down I need to fix. But there's the pumpkins on the back, there's the handle with a little bit of ombre up it. And these are cute, cute, cute little gnomies with the pumpkins. This is such a fun little cup. And then those little pumpkins at the bottom. Don't forget, if your clear water slide has a white spot, it's not really going to be white. It's going to show whatever the color underneath is, which is why I did this pumpkin over the orange. So, that is that for this one.